Good afternoon, Rotarians. Welcome to today's meeting. It's the last meeting in November, and it's the last meeting before Thanksgiving. We're going to have a great program today with Amy Wachob from the Goodwill Industries, and we're just going to have a good meeting, and we're going to leave smiling. As we get the meeting underway, Mike George, would you lead the reflection? Tim Menke, would you lead the pledge? And followed up with George Eistatter with the four-way test.
Let us pray. Dear God, as Rotarians, we've always taken the lead role in protecting our community's greatest asset, its people, regardless of their abilities. Let us be vigilant advocates for them, remembering that we must be the eyes for those who cannot see, the ears for those who cannot hear, and the voices for those who cannot speak. Thank you for the individuals who advocate on their behalf. We give praise to those who make a place at the table for all to sit, as you have commanded us to do so by loving one another as we love ourselves. Let us use the knowledge gained today to share with others in our community to improve the future for all, because in the end we are measured not only by the good deeds we know we have accomplished, but also by the good deeds we never knew we did. Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The truth.
Is it the truth?
Second, is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial for all concerned?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. I couldn't see you down back there with all the lights. Good. Sue Martin, would you come to the podium, please?
Good afternoon.
Go for it.
As you have noticed, we are remembering some of our Rotarians who have recently passed. So if we could have a moment of silence, please. Amen. Today I'm here to honor and pay tribute to past President Dr. Eric J. Summons. I was asked by his wife, Rotarian Olivia, to give his eulogy. Eric was 75 when he passed away at the University of Michigan Hospital on October 7th, a month after having esophageal surgery to remove a cancerous tumor. Born in Orange, New Jersey in December 1943, he was raised in Reading, Pennsylvania. He earned his A.B. degree from Franklin and Marshall College, his M.S. in psychology and from Villanova, and his Ph.D. in psychology from the University of Toledo. Eric served our country for 3 years on active duty in Vietnam with the United States Army. He retired from the Army Reserves as Lieutenant Colonel after 25 years of service. For his service, Eric was awarded both the National Defense Service Medal and the Bronze Star for bravery. Heroes don't wear capes, they wear dog tags. Eric died of complications due to exposure to Agent Orange. Eric joined Toledo Rotary in February 1985 and served as its president in 1995-96. Eric was a Paul Harris Fellow and served as first vice president and chair of the Youth Committee. His interest in the service above self aspect of Rotary was concentrated in the club's projects for youth. Eric's Eric's pet peeve when he was introduced at Rotary was that there should be compulsory military service. Highlights of Eric's presidency were the 80th anniversary of Rotary and a visit to our club by RI President Herb Brown and his wife. Herb Brown commented that seldom had he and his wife been hosted in such a royal and wonderful fashion. He was particularly impressed with the friendliness of one of the world's truly great Rotary clubs. Professionally, when Eric spoke, people listened. Through his business, Selection Resources, Inc., he was a respected professional in the area of employment. He assisted employers to find professionals that matched the needs of their businesses, assessed prospects to mid-career professionals, and helped young people with career planning. Over the years, he worked to strengthen employer performance and improve organizational operations. Involved in community activities, Eric served as board chair for the YMCA of Greater Toledo, on the advisory board of the University of Toledo College of Engineering, and as the leader executive in residence for the College of Business and Innovation. He was also the 2012 Edwin Dodd Distinguished Lecturer. To Eric's wife, Rotarian Olivia, who's sitting down here in front, I know that you want to join me in expressing our sympathy for her loss. Eric is survived by his 2 daughters, Mary and Sarah, who are both living out of town and out of the country, and 3 stepchildren who are also out of the state, and 3 step-grandchildren. He was a very good friend to many of us.
Oh, what a mess that is. Thank you, Sue. Olivia, thank you for being here today, and thank you for the gift of your husband and all of the service that he did for this club. It's very meaningful. Thank you. Thank you. Our meeting today is being sponsored by Hartman and Associates. Thank you to Hartman. Visiting Rotarians. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Well, you know, it's truly their loss. This is a fun group. I'm sorry? Could you be introduced?
I'm Jim Nooney from Perrysburg.
Jim? Jim, I've heard that the Perrysburg Club is an okay club. Okay. We hope you have a good time today and enjoy this meeting. I would like to invite members to the floor mic to introduce any guests.
I have one other guest. Okay. Well, I know that guy too. Sorry, President. I'd like to introduce a special guest today visiting us from China. Han Wen is a student at the University of Toledo where she's involved in a Zufei program. It's an exchange program in the College of Business, and she does an internship at the Minority Business Centers at Toledo. So she's joining us for lunch today.
Welcome. I hope you enjoy the meeting. Thank you, Mark.
President Tim, fellow Rotarians, my guest today is Michael Temple of Temple Development Company. He is a very hot prospect for Rotary membership, and he's been a longtime friend, client, and networking partner of mine. He'll fit in just fine here, trust me.
Michael Temple, welcome.
Hello, our guest today is Stephanie Branco. She is with OOD, which is Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities.
Welcome, Stephanie. I hope you enjoy the meeting. Do we have Shireen in the room?
Good afternoon. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill anybody off today, so you're all in the clear. I wanted to give an update of how many new members we have, and I also wanted to update everybody on the members that brought in new members as well. So we have 15 new members. It's not where we want to be, but we're getting there and we're making really good progress. So I want to thank Cindy Brinkley, Gary Brown, Raz Kadri, Romulus Durant, Candace Harris, Cindy Kerr, Judy Lebb, Kevin Mullen, Gary Murphy, Mike Noble, Kathy Tate, Maria White, and Steve Miller. So I wanted to make just a quick announcement on the fact that has everybody brought in a guest or thought about that one person? I just want you to think that to yourself. As well as remember, it's not just one person's job, it's each and every one of you guys, because you're all leaders in the community. So each of you know one person that's not in this room or that's not in Rotary. We need to bring those on to our team so we can make the community a little bit better. And if anybody has any questions on who those people should be, we have these still outside at the new member table. So please bring a guest and follow up with your guest. We have had 100 new guests come in the last couple months or throughout the year. We need to bring those on as new members instead of just bringing them for lunch. Let's see what happened to them. Let's see why they're not coming on board. So, thanks. Questions?
Any questions for Shireen? Thank you, Shireen. Everybody knows that the holiday season is fast coming upon us, and everybody knows that our annual holiday party is going to be at the Toledo Country Club. It's going to be from 5 to 7:30, and it's going to be fun. It's always fun, and you're going to have to RSVP. You got to RSVP for the annual holiday party. Okay.
At the Toledo Country Club.
At the Toledo Country Club. We have Steve Miller and Greg Steenrod. Would you come to the podium, please, and talk about the foundation annual campaign?
Thank you, President Tim. Good afternoon, Rotarians. Steve and I are here to plead for your annual donation to our foundation. So as a background, we've averaged about 75% participation for many years. However, this past year, we barely reached about 50%. So that resulted in 16 to 17 donations, resulted in about $230,000 or about 32 grants. And then in 17-18, donations resulted in about $200,000 or 27 grants. So just think about the impact that our donations have here locally to the community. I think about connecting kids to meals. We provided a grant to last year that provides hot, nutritious meals at no cost to kids in low-income and underserved areas. Sunshine Communities, who supports more than 400 men, women, and children with disabilities. And the Autism Model School, a school to develop a full potential of students within the autistic spectrum. So our ask, we're hoping to get 100% participation. It's so easy. Go to ToledoRotary.org to donate. You do $5, $10, $15, $50, any level really, but we really want to increase participation. It's not so much how much you give, it's the fact that you do give. And you can break it up monthly if you'd like to. If you wanted to be in the President's Club, which is $250 a year, you could do $21 a month. And for those of you who are all thinking about Thanksgiving, that's about the cost of a Butterball turkey. So I'm going to hand it over to Steve now, who's going to talk about a reward program that we're putting together, hoping to increase the participation level. Thank you.
Well, now for the fun part. He gives me the fun stuff to do, I guess. So the Rotary year runs July 1st to June 30th of the following year. So we're about halfway through our fiscal Rotary year. As Greg mentioned, last year we had about 50% participation in our Rotary Foundation, and we're really trying to grow that. So for those of you that have contributed since July 1st, thank you, because you're already counted. But one of the things that Greg and I have decided to do is to put together a reward program that if anybody contributes before the February 3rd Rotary meeting, I'm going to donate 4 tickets to any event to Huntington Center. Might even be in a suite with food and beverage included. And Greg's going to donate a day of fishing at Sunnybrook Trout Club. So we've got 2 caveats. One is that you give at any level. But the second thing is that the entire club needs to be at 80% participation. Last year we were at 50%. We want to drive that number above 80%. So there's 2 things that need to take place. First, you need to give. And secondly, the club needs to be at an 80% capacity by February 3rd, and we will donate those prizes. Kathy did mention to me before the meeting that if you want to give today, she would take your donation out at the table after the meeting. Or as Greg said, you can go online or send your check in. I know that there are some tax benefits for some of us if we contribute by the end of the year, but the key for us is that you just give, whether it's the $10, $100, or $1,000. Thanks very much.
You guys wonder what I'm doing here, don't you? Thank you, Greg. Steve, thank you as well. Tell me, if I want to make my community a better place to live, and it really matters what kind of community that I live in to me, what do you think I should do?
Give it to Toledo Rotary.
And why is that?
Have a greater impact on your community.
Thank you very much. By giving to the Toledo Rotary for more than 100 years, we have been doing good stuff in this community. Thank you for all that you're doing. Mike Noble, are you smiling today? Okay, make us all smile. Come on up. Introduce a new member.
Thank you, President Tim and fellow Rotarians. It is my pleasure today to introduce Dr. Rosemary Chabin. Dr. Chabin is my new dentist. Therefore, you never know where you'll find our next new Rotarian to join the club. Rosemary is homegrown from the Toledo area. She graduated from Sylvania Northview High School in 2009, going on to graduate from Kent State University with a bachelor's degree in 2013, and then on to Howard University to graduate with a doctorate in dental surgery in 2017. Dr. Chabin then completed a 1-year general practice residency at UTMC and can now be found working at Oak Openings Dental in Toledo off of Holland-Sylvania Road. Rosemary was a competitive gymnast for over 13 years and is now an avid yogi. She enjoys spending time with her husband, family, and friends, and frequenting our beautiful park systems. When asked which is her favorite park, she says that while Wildwood is a Toledo classic, Side Cut might be the answer given the proximity to the riverfront. Her pet peeve? Slow walkers. Please join me in welcoming to the Toledo Rotary Club, Dr. Rosemary Chabin.
Rosemary, welcome to the Toledo Rotary Club. How many friends do you think you have in the whole world? Well, you now have 1,200,000 friends who are Rotarians. You can go virtually anywhere in the world and meet Rotarians, and they'll be concerned about you. They will be your friends. It's a great organization. Have you thought about what kind of committee that you want to serve on?
The community service.
Community service, it's a great one. Here's our roster.
All right, thank you.
And here's your Rotary pin. Welcome to the Toledo Rotary Club. Thank you. My friend Sharon Skilleter, would you come to the podium and make a presentation?
Thank you, President Tim, but before I do this, may I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Why do you ask so many questions?
You know, I've always had a curious mind. It just, and I think that it takes courage to stand up and make a statement to this club. There are, any given day, there's 200 and plus people, 250 people in the room. A lot of people are nervous, but they still have the courage to get up, say what it is that they want to say that's so meaningful, and much of it is very meaningful. I just give them an opportunity to restate it.
Well, thank you. Inquiring minds wanted to know. Anyway, great day to be up here, especially with the foundation presentation. I wouldn't be up here giving this presentation if you weren't giving generously to our foundation. So on behalf of the Toledo Rotary Club Foundation, it's my pleasure today to present a grant check in the amount of $5,000 to the Ability Center. This check is providing funding for the Assistance Dog Training Center. Nice article in the paper today on that also. Our Disability Services Committee members received the request, participated in the vetting process, which then goes to the FAC committee, the Foundation Advisory Committee, and if you're looking for a committee to sit on, that's really a wonderful one that shows you the great things we do in Rotary. It then goes to be recommended for a grant approval to our club board and our foundation trustees. And it is due to the countless Toledo Rotarians as yourself that give so generously that enables us to provide these grants. Thank you to everyone who continues to support our foundation, and we encourage you once again, if you don't already, to support, please participate no matter at what level. I'd like to invite Tim Harrington to come to the podium to accept the grant. And Tim is no stranger to us. He's been a member for 20 years, and we have a storied history with the Ability Center. And he's going to tell us how they're going to use these funds. Tim?
Thank you. We're very excited that Rotary is able to be part of our dog program. The goal of the program is to connect assistance dogs with folks with disabilities, and this year we've also added Agility Angels, which is a program for folks with autism learning how to work with dogs. So thank you very much. I would say that we're doing a ribbon cutting December 5th, and would welcome any of you for a tour anytime you want. Thank you.
This thing is just not working today. Can you guys hear me in the back? Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Sharon. Hey, Tim, what kind of dogs?
Labs, Goldens.
Labs, are they mixed?
Yep.
Okay, Labs and Goldens. How many?
We currently have 130 working.
And there's why you ask questions. 100 of them? Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of dog food. Just Rick Marshall, would you join us at the podium? Where are you? There you go. Come on up here.
Thank you. Thank you, President Tim. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. It's my pleasure today to introduce our guest speaker, Amy Wachob. But before I do that, I've been granted just a couple of minutes to talk about the work of the Disability Services Committee. I've been privileged to serve on that committee for 4 years, and I am the chair this year. I think many of you know the roots of the Disability Services Committee go way back in the history of the Toledo Rotary. In fact, we've got the distinction of being one of the first clubs in the world to be a pioneer in aiding children with disabilities. I think most of you know that we were instrumental in the founding of the Glendale Fieldbach School. That was back in the early 20th century when our past president, Charles Fieldbach, got a bunch of Toledo Rotarians together and were instrumental in getting that going. It was opened in 1918 as the Glendale Fieldbach School for Crippled Children, and later moved to where it is today and continues to be a part of Toledo Public Schools. But we continue to provide them support. One of the key things that the Disability Services Committee does is partners with Glendale Fieldbach each year to sponsor a couple of outings for their students, connecting Rotarians to those students. We have what is somewhat legendary, our annual Zoo Day, where we connect and show students around the zoo for the day. It's just a great experience for all. I know many of you have done that, and we appreciate it. And then we also try to do an event in the spring with the school and the youth as well. Look for something to come on that here in just a couple months. I'm glad we featured the Ability Center today with the grant presentation, because Toledo Rotary was also instrumental in starting the Ability Center back in 1920 when we established a hospital for children with polio. With the assistance of Rotary, the Ability Center, as Tim can well tell you, has continued to transform itself and meet the needs of individuals with disabilities today. So today, in today's Toledo Rotary, a lot of our work is on the review and approval of grants. We give about $30,000 to $35,000 in grant assistance a year. You just saw a great example of one of those, a couple of others that were recently approved. We gave $10,000 to Sunshine Communities for their Sunshine Vacation Program. The program allows for Sunshine to arrange simple getaways for individuals with disabilities, and they don't really have the resources necessarily to do that on their own. Just like you and I need to recharge our batteries, individuals with disabilities need to do the same thing, and so we were happy to participate in that program. One other example, we gave $5,000 to Lott Industries for their Healthy Lot program. Often individuals with disabilities do not maintain a healthy lifestyle. They may not have the proper education around nutrition, or they may not have the appropriate equipment to enable themselves to exercise and stay fit. So our grant allowed Lott Industries to provide vital resources to individuals that they serve and allow them to engage in a healthier lifestyle. So I just encourage you to notice the themes and what we're talking about in our grants and the work that we do with individuals with disabilities. It's not a focus on disabilities themselves, but really it's about maximizing the ability that each person possesses. So I invite each of you to check out the Disability Services Committee if you are interested. You're welcome to join. You're welcome to just drop in on one of our meetings someday and get a better feel for what we're all about and the great work that the Disability Services Committee does for the Toledo Rotary. So now on to a new program and our featured speaker for today. This Working Better Together program is one that our committee and the Rotary Board of Directors is excited to support, and that Amy Wachob of Goodwill Industries is going to introduce to us here in just a moment. So I'll introduce Amy. Amy has proudly served Goodwill Industries of Northwest Ohio since 1991. She began her journey there actually working in Goodwill stores. And after years of progressive leadership responsibility, she was named president and CEO in November of 2016. Amy has her BA from the University of Toledo and has also completed the Executive Development Program through Goodwill Industries. In addition to leading Goodwill locally, Amy is a member of the Goodwill Industries International Development Faculty, teaching learners the importance of community involvement, brand identification, and mission strategy. Amy is a Toledo native, has 2 children, a son, Jax, who attends the University of Toledo, and a daughter, Mackenzie, who attends Northview High School. Looking forward to hearing Amy talk about the Working Better Together program today. So please join me in welcoming fellow Rotarian Amy Wachob. Amy?
Good afternoon, everyone. I was doing really good until I heard 250 people plus, and then I got a little nervous. But thank you, Rick, and thank you, President Tim. Thank you, fellow Rotarians, in advance to your attention and interest in an exciting venture put forth to you today between 4 very engaged Rotarians. But first, I would like to introduce our tables of guests, which include team members and supporters from Goodwill, the Ability Center, led by Tim Harrington, Lott Industries, led by Tim Menke. If you want to stand up, Tim, you can. Okay. The Epilepsy Center, led by Roy Cherry. We would also like to introduce Stephanie Branco, from Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, and the Superintendent Lori Mariucci from the Lucas County Board of Developmental Disabilities. I would also like to recognize Rotarians Tom Klein and Whitney Rothkar, both who serve on Goodwill's Board of Directors, and Dawn Chung, Board Chairperson for the Epilepsy Center. So welcome. The group, now named Working Better Together, formed as a power surge from Tim Harrington at the Ability Center, who saw great opportunity when our 4 organizations, Goodwill, the Ability Center, Lott Industries, and the Epilepsy Center, met to solve all the world's problems. In fact, I see Hunt back there keeping our table nice and warm for us, so thank you. I am proud to stand before you and talk to you about maximizing each person's potential and abilities. I think Rick had just mentioned that. We hope that you will see the demonstrated spirit of collaboration to address a community challenge and opportunity. People with disabilities need and deserve full integration into our community and businesses. The video, which will run for the majority of our time with you here today, will outline the program, which will summarize the next steps. So Walt, I think we are all set for the video.
Job seekers who are coming through the Working Better Together program are very loyal and reliable, and these are 2 traits that every employer is looking for in today's job market.
We have a great Rotarian club and many members and many business leaders and business owners in the community. So it just made sense to really tap into that, see how we can work together, and if there are jobs that they might have or positions that they might have, and they're looking for a little bit of work here and there, or they can provide something that our clients are looking for, whether it's office work or stocking or anything that they might be able to do, why not partner together?
Since our inception, Toledo Rotary's efforts and attention have been motivated by the plight of disabled children, part of the greater mission of service above self. This led to the creation of today's Ability Center of Greater Toledo and Glendale Fieldbach Elementary School. Working Better Together. It's a natural extension and expression of service above self.
The whole concept of working better together came from the fact that Rotary has had service to kids with disabilities in their plan since inception. So a lot of what they refer to is their relationship with Fieldbach School. And what we did was say, okay, the entire emphasis is on serving kids, but those kids grow up. And so why not that whole emphasis on helping kids with disabilities flow out to when they're adults and really needing to take that next step towards independence. So we said, let's develop a project that continues the emphasis on folks with disabilities and its relationship with Rotary.
Working Better Together matches people who have disabilities with employers who can offer an opportunity for them to achieve greater independence for themselves and society.
When the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed, one of the important byproducts of that was that it was supposed to improve the employment rate of folks with disabilities. The bottom line is, after 29 years, we've done very little to move that bar. So with a 70% unemployment or underemployment rate of folks with disabilities, we are all trying to move that bar to improve the number of folks with disabilities that are working.
There is a tremendous benefit to society.
You have families that are dependent on public assistance, so there's a disincentive to going to work, and there's the need for health care. So, if you put that at risk by making people no longer eligible for public benefits, then that's a big concern as well. If you rely on the public system for support, you will live in poverty.
Working better together fulfills the state of Ohio's Employment First initiative, shifting expectations from sheltered environments to community involvement.
There's a lot of momentum to give people the greatest opportunity that they can be given. We've always believed in that a lot. Take each individual person, help them to reach the highest level that they can in work and education. The timing of this partnership really couldn't be any better for Lott, because now we have the opportunity to get the people who really want to find community employment and get them in front of potential employers.
4 community organizations, all represented by Toledo Rotarians, have come together and are ready to partner with employers. And through the program, all Rotarians can provide a valuable public service by hiring individuals with developmental disabilities. Job opportunities will be posted monthly in the Spoke newsletter, or can be brought directly to the Disability Services Committee. The liaison agency is Goodwill Industries. They'll tap into the other 3 partners, who each will supply a pool of available talent, ready, willing, and able to work. Here's a look at the partners.
We've been around since 1977 as the Epilepsy Center of Northwest Ohio, but throughout those 40 years we have cared for people with developmental disabilities as well, and that's a real big part of what we do here at the Epilepsy Center, providing residential care, transportation, payee services, adult day programming, work skills training. Our clients who have developmental disabilities are in neighborhoods, and they're roommates. Three individuals live in a home that they rent from a landlord.
And they're working now.
In the Goodwill Donation Center, sorting out through the clothes, stocking that stuff, dealing with the donations that are coming in. A couple hours a week that they'll be able to do it, and it's a great opportunity for us to partner with another nonprofit that does great work in the community.
Most in the community know us for our stores, or a great and convenient place to donate their unwanted items, but Goodwill is so much more than the store and a donation station. Our purpose and our mission throughout the community is to offer workforce development services for people with disabilities. The stores are here to help us fund that mission. So we are a self-funded nonprofit model.
One of their success stories is Becca.
She came to Goodwill through Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, better known as OOD, and she is now a hostess over at Red Robin, very successful. Becca tried many other service agencies for community-based employment and didn't have much luck until she came to Goodwill. And we linked her with Heather Nash, who is one of our workforce development professionals. Heather worked with her one-on-one to find what skills she found interest in. She loves her job, she loves her boss, but even more than that, her coworkers rely on her, engage with her, and she has just added an additional spark to that entire workplace.
Lott Industries is a sheltered workshop for adults with developmental disabilities. It was founded by Josina Lott, a teacher who came to Toledo in the 1930s. She was disturbed that public schools turned away children with disabilities and established a day school, which ultimately became Lark Lane Elementary. She established the workshop to provide employment to her former students. Pioneering at the time, the sheltered workshop model is evolving and fading.
This step towards community integration, community employment, is a needed step. For years, kids would go to high school. They would come out of high school, they would come to a place like Lott Industries, work for 40 years, and then retire. Not really given the opportunity to explore everything that is in front of them. This change allows everybody the opportunity to do what they can to reach the highest level of independence that they can.
The Ability Center of Greater Toledo empowers individuals with disabilities to live, work, and socialize within a fully accessible community.
Research shows that students with disabilities who have work opportunities become adults with disabilities who work. That's proven. So we are very serious about making sure that the students we come in contact are motivated to work and understand that they can work.
Next Steps is a program of the Ability Center which prepares graduating high school students for independence.
And through that program, students in transition spend 5 weeks on the campus of University of Toledo, where we teach them what it's like to take the next steps in life. So they're expected to work every day, and then in the evening hours we teach independent living skills so they understand what it's going to be like when they take their next steps. We've had huge success with this, and it's really something that I think our Rotary members could offer up as well.
For the business owners in the audience, Working Better Together presents a uniquely motivated pool of talented potential.
I'm a very productive worker. I like to do things and I like to be with people.
The individuals who will come to us through a profile from our partners or ourselves are active job seekers. They are ready for community-based employment. They are eager to start with a match of an employer who are willing to give them a chance.
I am happy, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I like to do stuff.
It'll streamline the process. It'll make it easier for the Rotary businesses who want to hire and be a part of the program to help people with disabilities. Be an easy process for them, fill the positions that they need, and we'll all, in the long run, it will help the people that we serve.
I'm a very hard worker. You can trust and rely on. I'm dependable and reliable.
We have a great resource. When we talk about the agencies that are, between the Epilepsy Center, Goodwill, Ability Center, and Lott Industries, we got a big pool of people that are looking to work. And what better place to showcase that than with the Rotarians in the Toledo Rotary Club and all the business owners here in the community.
So, what's in it for Toledo Rotarians?
Service above self, and the fact that they have a 100-year history of wanting to serve folks with disabilities, and this really stokes it into the pipeline so that every Rotarian, if they want, can participate. We expect it to be a win-win because they're getting employees that are being supported by our organization. And also, the records show that folks with disabilities are much more likely to show up, do the job, and not make trouble. Our goal is that Toledo Rotary will help us find 15 jobs a year for folks with disabilities within the next 5 years. And I think if they do that, then we will be demonstrating a model that can be replicated and that can be picked up by other Rotary clubs elsewhere.
I think everyone should give a hand to Phil. Phil, can you stand up? Who wrote, produced, directed that video. Thank you so much for working with us non-actors here. So I also want to thank Jack Hollister. Are you in the audience today, Jack? Okay, thank you, Jack, who will serve as the Rotarian for the Working Better Together program liaison as well. So in summary, our initiative will link area employers with job-ready candidates. Fulfilling employers' human resource needs with team members who are ready to work is a win-win for the employer, the person placed, and our community. Goodwill is the gatekeeper for this program, as our mission in the community is to link employers with job seekers who may come from a more non-traditional background. Working Better Together will keep a list of profiles of job candidates. We ask that when a Rotarian or someone that you may know has an opening, that they consider a candidate from our pool of qualified job seekers. Direct contact can be made with David Tackett, who is Goodwill's Chief Mission Officer. Outcomes and success stories will be shared to ensure transparency of the collaboration. We are looking, as Tim had mentioned, to place 15 people per year for the next 5 years, and we think that that's a very obtainable goal. Right, guys? Yes. The Toledo Rotary Club is highly regarded in transforming lives, demonstrated by their international work of eradicating polio and local support of programs and initiatives. Each employer in the room has the power to help people in our community, and now we ask that you believe in the power of work and help us to help others work to their fullest potential by giving them a hand up. Again, I would like to thank you for your time and interest, and on behalf of my colleagues, we wish you and your families a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Amy and Tim, will you take questions?
Sure.
So 130 dogs?
15 jobs.
Okay.
15 jobs.
Okay. Amy, in gratitude for you being here today and the presentation that you've made, we have a book about the history of Toledo.
Great.
This is for you.
Thank you.
And we will also make a donation to our International Polio Plus Fund in your name.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And before we close the meeting, I do have a few thoughts about the foundation and the work that we do in making our community a better place. I would like to ask everybody who has been mentioned by name in this room, on the film, or in connection to the Ability Center or Goodwill, if you would please stand and be recognized. Thank you very much. We are Rotarians. We give, all of you and all of us in the room, but all of those who stood a few seconds ago, that is service above self. And thank you very much for all you do. There is no Rotary meeting next week in honor of Thanksgiving. The following week after that, on December 9th, we'll have Foundation Day. After that, on the 16th, we will have our annual concert. That's always fun. Bring your spouses, bring your friends. We have 3 meetings today. Vocational Services is in North Cape. Community Services is in Presque Isle. Membership Development is in Waynesfield. I think Chuck is in the room.
He is.
Okay, let's go for it, Chuck.
Okay, all right, thank you. A couple of weeks ago, I visited a good friend of mine who is from Charlotte, and we were talking about Thanksgiving, and he said, my daddy, which is the way he talks, my daddy had the best Thanksgiving recipe, and I need to give that to you. So he sent it to me, and this is Ned Lyerly's daddy's 17 easy steps to cooking a delicious turkey. Step 1, go buy a turkey. Step 2, take a drink of whiskey, scotch, or Jack Daniels. Step 3, put turkey in the oven. Step 4, take another 2 drinks of whiskey. Step 5, set the degree at 375 ovens. Step 6, take 3 more whiskeys of drink. Step 7, turn the oven on. Step 8, take 4 whisks of drinky. Step 9, Turk the basty. Step 10, whiskey another bottle of get. Step 11, stick a turkey in the thermometer. Step 12, glass yourself a pour of whiskey. Step 13, bake the whiskey for 4 hours. Step 14, take the oven out of the turkey. Step 15, floor the turkey up off the oven pick. Step 16, tuck the carve, I had to be careful with this, tuck the carvey Step 17, open another scuttle of botch. Step 18, tet the sable and pour yourself a glass of turkey. And step 19, bless the saying, pass and eat out. Here are a few more Thanksgiving observations. A new survey found that 80% of men claim they help cook Thanksgiving dinner, which makes sense when you hear they consider that smells good to be helping. Thanksgiving dinners take 8 hours to prepare. They are consumed in 12 minutes. Half times take 12 minutes. This is not a coincidence. You know that just before the first Thanksgiving, there was one wise old Native American woman saying, "Don't feed them. If you feed them, they'll never leave." And finally, shot my first turkey yesterday. Scared the crap out of everyone in Churchill's frozen food aisle, but it was awesome.
Thank you, Chuck. As you all know, Thanksgiving is coming up in a few days. Of course, I wish everyone in this room a happy Thanksgiving, and just would like you to have one thought. As you're gathering around your loved ones and giving thanks for the generous life that we all live, just take a thought and think about, is there a way that you could lift somebody up and try to do so? We are adjourned.